We also lost you a little bit with the app, so let's go back and review a little bit. So where we are now is I'm going to tap on this button up here. This is the behaviors button. And I'm going to hide this panel down here. Let's hide that away. I added an object by using this plus button here. And it was our toy. So if I hit the plus button, I'll see our library. So I picked this rocket, which is now downloaded on my device. I can pick a few different things as well that are kind of fun to play with, that we'll play with in future sessions. But if you just go and tap on the rocket and download that, you'll wind up with your object. At first it'll be a cube while it waits to download. And then if you tap on it in this mode, in fact I have it on AR, so when I have this button highlighted, it'll show it picked a spot on my desk. If I want to just, without worrying about where it's placed, I can hit the AR button up here and I'll see just a grid. I can pinch way in. I can manipulate this object. I can move it around. And if I don't like what I just did, I can hit this undo button. Or if I tap on the screen, I'm going to tap about here on the screen and then drag down. You can see that I can rotate the scene around, so I can check out underneath the rocket. Check it out from the top view. So now I'm just dragging my finger around the screen. If I want to move it with a little more precision, and I don't want to tap and move it, I can tap on the green arrow and move it up. If I tap on the red arrow, it'll just go. And I'm going to hit undo because I don't want to move it around too much. Blue will move it back and forward because we have those three axes. Y is the green, so it's up and down. Red is the X, it's horizontal, and then Z is forward. So now, once I tap on this, if I tap this little thing over here, it looks like a gear with a cube inside of it. I can see details about. So if I had nothing selected, if I tap away, this just shows me my scene's properties. So I can see if I tap on this arrow here, I'll horizontal anchor. I can change it to vertical, but I want horizontal because I want this to take off the tabletop. So we're going to hide that just so to make it a little clearer. We can change the scene physics to what kind of material the scene is made out of, what gravity is set to. So if I wanted this rocket ship to be taking off from the moon, I could set it to the moon's gravity. And we'll see this pane changes because we have the position set here. It's a little bit off the ground, so we'll hit reset to set it. We can change the rotation. If we do want it to take off sideways, we would change the rotation a bit there. We can change the size of it by moving this scale slider. We have an option with this object to change the style. This is kind of cool. We can change, if we zoom in and take a look at the changes that happen here. If we tap on realistic, it looks a bit different. It looks like an actual toy that you might see sitting around in an old-time nursery. There's iconic. So in this case, we might use the material color down here to say, okay, well, we don't want it to be white. We want it to be, maybe we'll make it a green spaceship. We can change the shine here, the way that light is reflected by picking different materials. So we could pick car paint, aluminum, so that changes my color altogether, bronze, terracotta spaceship. But I like the stylized one. We're going to stick with that. You can say whether or not this participates in physics. So whether or not gravity has an effect on it. And we're going to show you what happens when you turn that on. Not in this demo, but in the next session that we have. And of course, all of these have sets so that if you have a user who is vision impaired or maybe hearing impaired, you can provide certain hints about your scene to them. Okay, so we have our rocket set up pretty well. Oh, I just moved it again. So we'll reset. I went over here and hit reset because I accidentally moved it. You'll probably do that a few times yourself too. So I just go over here and hit reset. I'm going to pinch to zoom out. And now I'm going to go up here. And this button here with the arrow, the star and the arrow, I'm going to tap on that to get my behaviors up. What we did possibly while we were getting disconnected was I hit the plus button to add a new behavior. And it brought up this menu that I can scroll through like this. I picked custom behavior. And I chose tap. So the custom behavior was tap, so I can actually take a look at that. I'll have an option to choose my affected objects. So remember, I hit choose. I selected this one. Now I've just deselected it, and it shows me a little triangle to say that there's an error with this behavior. Tap on that to select it. We can either hit done here or done up here. And then I'm going to go over to this action sequence here. You remember I had hit the plus button here and we chose the move, rotate, and scale by option. So I scrolled up a little, move, rotate, scale by action. Gave me this panel. So the ease type was originally set to ease in, ease out. So here's the ease type. And that just tells you how the animation is going to proceed. So I wanted ease to take a little bit of time to ramp up, just like a rocket taking off from the ground. I want to change this duration to maybe, let's give it 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 6.15. Perfect. That's how long it's going to take this action to animate. So it's going to go up, and we can see down here, it's going to go up 5 meters in 6.15 seconds. So we can see what that feels like. And rotate it all. It's not going to scale. And now to try this out, let's see it on our desk here. So I'm going to hit the AR button up top. And this is going to find the table. So we're going to move the iPad around to get it oriented. That rocket ship is way too big. So I'm going to touch it with 2 fingers and pinch down. Because this is very like the other view that we had, where we had the grid. This just lets us play around with our rocket and say, all right, well, where do we want to place it on the scene? I'd like it to show up right there. That looks good. It looks like it's touching the ground, maybe. Yep, looks like it's on the ground. You can check out over the top. It's looking pretty good. So I can manipulate this scene by touching it with my finger and dragging it around. I have my rocket ship in the right place. Like say I've put in the video that Apple have produced, there's a nice landing pad on the ground. I can hit the play button and this will place this item in the scene. So now my behaviors go away. I have a little stop button. I can walk around my rocket ship, maybe inspect it, see if it's ready for takeoff. And you remember I added that behavior, and the trigger for the behavior is tap. So now I'm just going to go and tap on the rocket ship and watch my animation. Tap, and there we go. It eases up. And there it goes, through the roof. All right, so maybe don't try that at home or in your house. Maybe you want to try that one outdoors. So then if we hit stop, our rocket ship is back down there. So that's a really cool, quick way to build a rocket ship that can take off. All using just Reality Composer, not writing a single line of code. And then we can share these scenes with our apps, with our playgrounds even, and we can build a scene using these animations and these scenes that we've built up in Reality Composer. So next week we're going to be playing around with this a bit more. We're going to do some more demos. We're going to take a look at the vertical anchor. We're going to look at the image anchor, which is one of my favorite scenes to build. I think there's a lot of possibility there. Just like our app at home thing, I think it'll really spark your imagination. And yeah, we'll see you next week. And hopefully you spend a bit of time this weekend playing around with AR kit and you're a rocket and you don't do too much damage around the house. All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.